Now. All right, guys. Hey, welcome. What's up? Welcome to Go Get a Podcast, episode 12. And today I got my friend Jordan Green with me. And why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, man?
Thank you for having me, brother. And my
Absolutely.
name is Jordan Green, recent URI alum, currently working to go to PT school. And that's just the simple things about me. I'm from the Bronx, New York. Probably will be staying here for a little while, but that's the basics about me. We'll get into more details as the show goes on.
Mm-hmm. And the most impressive thing that you guys need to know about Jordan, I mean, to me, there's a lot of impressive things about Jordan in general, but to me, like one day, I was like, like, hey, how's everything going? And he's like, oh, good. I just made the basketball team at URI. And I was like, what? Like, wait a minute. Like, because he had told me that he'd always been practicing and stuff like that. But I remember him telling me specifically, like, he didn't even play that much in high school. So he went from a person that didn't play for like a team in high school, right? Like you didn't really play for like an organized team.
I did. I played high school basketball. I actually played varsity my freshman year.
Yeah.
But what happened was I tore my meniscus my freshman year, and then I didn't have surgery on it. I let it heal on its own. So I missed my first and second seasons, which were the most, crucial for recruiting. So when I say I didn't play like that, I just missed my recruiting period basically. And I was just injured my freshman and sophomore year.
Mm-hmm.
But, that was it. I was playing varsity my freshman year, so I was decent back in the day.
Okay, I got you. That brings a little more clarity to me. But still, like the fact that you missed 2 prime years of recruitment, and then you went to this school that had a great basketball program. Like, were you planning on trying out like as soon as you got to the school, like for a long time, or like what was your thought process going in?
I had always wanted to play Division I basketball, and then when I went to URI, obviously I wasn't recruited, but I said I'm still going to try out because one, I just have confidence in myself. I was like, I know I'm good enough to play on the team, and what else do what do I have to lose at the same time? You know what I'm saying? Like nobody's expecting me to walk on, like nobody knows me. So I was like, I'm just going to go for it, and I have full confidence in myself. And that's the mindset I had going into trying out my freshman year. And then that was how it was.
I got you. So you made the team your freshman year, correct?
No, so what had happened, I was the last kid cut my freshman year. And then sophomore year, there wasn't a tryout. But my junior year is when I got my shot to try out again. And then that's when I made the team.
Like how, like, I just don't even know, like, how – because I feel like most people, like, as soon as they're like, oh, like, I was injured like you were, or like it's like, oh, like it's a D1 school, like I don't know if I can make that. People are probably just like, oh, like, that's probably too far-fetched of a dream at this point. So like it's just very impressive that you put yourself like to that standard, that you were just like, I'm still going to try this out. still going to try it out. Because like you could compare that to a lot of things in life, like just like putting yourself out there in general. And just like you never know where life is gonna take you in general. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Exactly. Honestly, yeah. So like my thoughts on that is exactly how it sounds. Is my whole thing is I was raised to I don't have like a quitter's mentality. I don't have the option to just get told no once and then give up. Like I have to just keep stepping, keep moving forward. And that's pretty much been my mind since I was young, is just keep moving forward. If something doesn't work out, do the next thing. And that's kind of how I approach getting cut the first time, and then sticking with it the second year when there wasn't even a tryout. And then the third year trying out again. That was pretty much how I was able to just stay mentally locked in and just literally go for it.
Mm-hmm. So once like you kind of visualized that you were going to be on the team at some point, or like just pictured yourself on the team, you were just like, I'm just going to do this like no matter what. Like I'm just going to put everything I can into this. And if I don't get it, then, it is what it is. But I'm just going to say that I at least tried.
Right.
Yeah. So like, what are your thoughts on like, people trying and trying over again? And maybe they don't get it the first time, because a lot of people are just like upset after not getting a certain result they want the first time. Like same thing with like fitness. Like if you train for a certain amount of time and people are after 2 weeks are like, oh, fuck that. Like you, after your first year, you could have easily just been like, fuck that. But like, why don't you just go ahead and explain? Like,
so I actually was explaining this to a few of my other friends who I know that also want to walk on, and just, you never know when you're going to get your chance. And so you always have to just put yourself in the best possible position to get that chance. So after they told me no, my first year, obviously I was upset. I was like, yo, like, what do you mean no?
Mhm.
But I didn't say, all right, this is the end. I have 3 other chances, or I have however many chances to get on this team before I graduate. So I'm gonna take care of that. I went to the gym. I would work out with my friends. Obviously, I would go to the rec center, go to Mackle, play ball with some of my best friends, and then just stay in shape the best I could. And then second year, when they didn't have the tryout, that's what really killed me, because I was like, man, I'm running out of time. But same thing, I stuck with it, kept my head down. Like, I did what I had to do and just waited for my chance. And then that third year came, and there almost wasn't even a tryout. But then I went to coach, because I had known him for like, a couple of years now. And I basically said, like, I need a tryout. It took a little bit of guts, but I said I need a
Yeah.
tryout. And then
Mhm.
he said, we'll work something out. And then long story short is I did what I had to do. And then he said, all right, we'll give you a shot, put you on the team. So I said, all right, thank you.
Mhm.
And so you just can't quit, because you never know when you're gonna get that chance. And that's what I
Mhm.
told my friends behind me who wanted, follow what I did. And I was like, yo, just do not quit, because you never know when your name can get called, and you just got to be ready for it.
Mhm. I got you. I got you. And especially like I feel like a lot of people are sometimes just when opportunities like don't present themselves exactly, I feel like people are just afraid to ask for
Mm-hmm.
an opportunity too. Because like even let's say like me getting you on here, or like me getting other people on here, people think I'm like friends with like obviously I'm friends with you, so that's different. But like a lot of people I never have met before, and I'll just shoot them a message through Instagram, and I'm just like, yo, you want to be on the podcast? Like I'd love to interview you. Like I would not get that opportunity unless I asked. And just like you with like your basketball dream, like you asked the coach, you were like, yo, I need like I know I can do this. Like I need a tryout because I've been improving and I want to show you something.
Shoot or shoot, man.
Exactly.
You gotta shoot your shot.
That's facts. So why don't you mentioned that you were, going to the rec center, hitting the weight room. Like, can you kind of like give me a summary of what your training regimen was like? If it was like strict, if it was like a little loose, like what was it like mainly comprised of?
So before I was on the team, like, my freshman and sophomore year, it was pretty loose, because I was just going to the gym with my friends just to stay in the shape I was already in.
Mhm.
So I would go, I had, the normal, like, I had buys, tries, shoulder days, leg days, stuff like that. I would go probably like 4 days, 5 days a week. And then
Yeah.
I would play basketball literally every day,
Mhm.
except on the weekends, because, the rec center was kind of dead. But I would also hang around sometimes and shoot around with the players, because I was working with the team at the time. And I would maybe get a one-on-one in with them, or play some type of basketball with them, from time to time, just to kind of see where I was at, if they were down for that. And that's kind of just how I stayed in shape. So just basic weight training, the norm, the usual, and
Mhm.
then staying in shape in terms of cardio by just playing basketball every day, every chance I
Mhm.
could get.
And what changed from your training regimen from the first time you tried out to your second time? Like, was there a huge difference in your training, or was it just like you had a little more heart the second time, or what do you think it was?
Not even that it changed a whole lot, because I've been working out since I had torn my meniscus in high school. So I had already known how to work out. So if anything, I was just getting stronger, getting my body more, a little more built, so I can,
Hmm.
hang out with people that were way bigger than me.
Hmm.
But that was about it. It's not that I had a huge change. It was just adding weight and just refining some techniques and learning some new things along the way.
Okay, I got you. I got you. And what do you think your biggest challenge was doing like going through this whole process? Was it the sheer fact that it was walk on? Was it the training? Like what was like what do you think was the biggest factor that you were like it made you doubt yourself sometimes?
The biggest factor, honestly, it's all mental,
Hmm.
because, you know, mentally you can kind of psych yourself out, saying, like, it didn't work out these
Yeah.
first 2 times, like maybe it's not meant to be.
Hmm.
Or you're saying, well, dang, you're gonna get this shot, but are you gonna be able to hang with these guys, like, these, because are recruited and possibly going to play pro, and we do have pros that I played with. So it's like, don't are you nervous? And I was like, no, I'm not nervous. It's just that was the biggest thing. It's just mental, just staying mentally sharp, mentally ready, mentally locked in. That was it.
Yeah, because I get what you're saying, because like I'll be taking an exam or something like that I literally studied so hard for, and before I even get the paper, I'm just like, I don't know if I can, like, I don't know if I'm going to pass. Like, I don't even know if I'm going to, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Those little thoughts in your head, like you just gotta quiet those out.
So I'm saying, like, how often was it that you had to tune those little voices in your head out that were like, oh, like, can you do this? Like, can you make this shot? Can you keep up with these sprints? Like, how much, like, how often was that occurring in your head, and how often did you have to just like turn that off?
Honestly, it would only be like it'll be random thoughts. It'll be like I'll just be standing around or just like thinking to myself like late at night, like, yo, like, you really want to play in this team, like do you think you're ready for that, like can you handle that? And then I would tell myself, I was like, bro, like, you've been playing basketball like your entire life since you were like 6 years old. It's like, at the end of the day, it's just basketball. Just go out there and do what you have to do, because like the physical part I wasn't necessarily concerned about, because I can run forever.
Yeah.
My friends tell you that I can just run forever, but it's just more like just reassuring yourself that, yo, like, if you get this chance, like, don't blow it. And that's how I turned those little voices in my head off. It's like, you're here for a reason. You're working for this for a reason. Like, you're gonna get that shot and you're not gonna blow it. It's not how you do things in life.
Yeah, I got you. And so, like, so you're at these tryouts with these guys that have been playing D1 ball, might have scholarships, something like that. Some are even going to go pro. So what are your thoughts, like, going through this? Because, like, even when I tried out for, like, my high school baseball team, which I got cut from, I was so nervous because I was like, damn, like, these guys are good. Like, they've been on the team for years. Like, how did you manage, like, being around that type of environment, even though, like, like, though you had their skill level, but they were clearly just like, they've been there for a while. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So actually, like, there's actually two stories. So my freshman year was different. My freshman year is the team came to watch tryouts. And so I was trying out against others who wanted to try out too. So they were just watching, and I was like, oh, this is kind of, interesting. Like, they were making their comments to the side. So I was like, yo, just don't embarrass yourself in front of all of them, because that's gonna be real bad. But I think I had a pretty good tryout. I got some oohs and ahs. And then my junior year is when it was like a little bit different for me. I was actually going through drills like with the team in practice over the course of like a week. And I was like, all right, so like, you're really in it now. It's like, you really don't want to mess up, because this is like your shot. If you do bad right here, like, this is over.
Yeah.
And so I was just saying in my head, I was like, yo, like, you're on the court. It's just basketball. Play your game. Do what you got to do. Don't be nervous. Just relax and just do what they do. Listen, pay attention, and then you'll be fine. And that's what ended up happening, was because, like, at this point, I was comfortable with the players too. So I was like, all right, I'm not like meeting new people for the first time. Like, I was comfortable, just calm, cool, and collected, and I just did what I had to do over that week, and then that's how I got on the team, basically.
I got you. What would be your best advice to someone like in your similar position that's walking on, like, as they're going into tryouts and they have all these nerves? Like, what do you think is the best thing that they can do? Is there like a method that you had where you're just like, no, like, not gonna say a thought, or like, did you, like, talk to yourself? Like, was there something that really just helped calm you down while you were around these players? I'm just curious.
My biggest piece of advice is to be yourself and play to your strengths. Like, don't go, isn't this like a life lesson? Like, don't do anything trying to be the hero or trying to do more than, bite off more than you can chew. So, like, don't go in there trying to drop 50 if you're not scoring. Like, play to your strengths. And then as you, get more comfortable and you get a rhythm, then you can kind of expand out and then make more out of yourself. That would be my biggest thing. Is just do what you do best, do that to the best of your ability at that given time. And then if you get into a rhythm and other things start to happen, just let it flow.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like my thought process on everything.
All right, that's awesome. Awesome. So I kind of want to start diving into, so junior year, you made the team.
Mm-hmm.
What were your initial thoughts as soon as you were like, damn, like all this hard work paid off? Like, what was like your first thought that ran through your head? Was it like what do you think?
Well, first thought in
Or you
my head,
remember? Yeah.
I was like, it was crazy because I remember like when they gave me my practice jersey and my shorts, they told me to go get changed in the locker room. I thought they were like messing with me at first. I thought they were pranking me. So I was like, what do you mean like go get changed? And then coach was like, yo, go get changed, like practice in 5 minutes, don't be late. And so then I go into practice and I'm still thinking, it's like it's a little prank. But then like, I'm going through practice and I'm like, holy shit, like I'm actually on the team. Like this is actually for real. So I was just having a moment, and I was like, wow, I'm actually like gonna get to play the Division I basketball, be a part of this team. And then the first thought started going through my head, I was like, I gotta tell my parents, I gotta tell my dad and my mom.
Yeah.
And that was like the first things I was thinking about. And then I called them right after practice. I was like, yo, like just made the team. And then my mom was going crazy. My dad was going crazy. It was nuts.
Mm-hmm.
It was nuts.
But like it probably the most excited person was you, because you're the one that's been putting in the work for so many years, and to get rejected the first time and to come back and like fucking conquer that shit, and like basically they didn't even tell you were on the team. They were just like, like they just integrated you slowly. They were just like,
they said go to practice. I said, what? Go to practice. with the jersey on? It was like, yeah, get changed. I said, oh shit.
So how was that first practice experience? Was it like, holy fuck? Or like, was it like, like it's game time now? Like was it a mix of both or?
It was a little bit of both. Cause like I said, I didn't like necessarily believe it at first because it was at such a random time. It was just so random.
Mm-hmm.
But I was obviously excited, and I don't know. It was a good feeling, and then I was like a little hesitant because I was still like a little bit in shock. But
yeah,
when I went through practice, did everything they asked me to do, and then that was that.
Mm-hmm.
That was how my first day went.
Bro, that's so fucking cool though that you were able to do that. Like, that's awesome, man. So why don't you go ahead and explain, if you can, like if it's like allowed, could you talk about like the training regimen that you guys had while you were on the team? Because I'm assuming a team such as Rhode Island D1 basketball, the conditioning has to be top notch, the strength has to be top notch, I'm sure like the actual basketball practices are top notch as well. Like, so what was a routine like for a D1 athlete playing a basketball of that caliber?
So in terms of training, like in the weight room, our summers look a lot. We have like we start from like block 0. So what they call it is that's really like our foundation. So we'll just do a lot of high rep, low weight workouts, a lot of isometric holds for like lower body stuff. Kind of just to get like that good foundation to promote like joint health and like muscle stability. Just so that we don't get injured during the season. And so we'll go through about 4 weeks of our block 0, and then we'll work up to the strength training and then the power training, and then eventually we'll get, by the time September rolls around, so after like 3 months of foundational power and strength training, we'll be into the season. And then it's more not about maintenance, but kind of working out to maintain that peak level of performance. So not finding the right way to balance and not stress our bodies, because practice is a lot, and then you got to incorporate traveling, games. So our strength coach did a good job of making sure like we didn't get hurt necessarily, because you want to take care of like our joints, take care of our bodies, rest when we needed to. But that was kind of how it went. And a lot of our conditioning was actually incorporated during like practice and stuff like that, because we run so much in practice, during live drills and stuff like that. So you kind of don't want to just make us run in the weight room and then have to go run again during practice. It kind of defeats the purpose. So all of it is like incorporated. And it was a good plan I think we had. So.
So how many times a week were you guys lifting preseason as opposed to in season?
preseason, so our summer was like I think we're only allowed like 4 days a week. So that was how we were doing it during the summer. And then I forget, we were doing probably like 5 days during the we were in the weight room like I want to say 6 days a week, but we weren't lifting every single day. We would have like recovery days to like rest our body, body maintenance days as well, because you can't just lift every day. It's impossible.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and then we practiced about the same amount of days, probably like 5 to 6 days a week.
Damn. And then that's on top of game days as well, which are also super excruciating on the body, I'm sure.
Yeah, game days are a lot because it's just playing. You play for minutes at a time in high adrenaline situations. It's crazy. Game days are a whole different breed, and people running into you. You gotta run into other people. It's just body collisions. It's crazy. Fatigue.
So, sorry, go ahead.
No, that was it. That was the end of my sentence.
Oh, okay. And what was like a day after a full basketball game? Like, was it like you guys kind of calmed down? Like, was it like full recovery, like no practice, or did you guys still practice after that?
It would be a light practice, and then in the weight room, it'd be strictly recovery. Like, especially for like the guys who played a lot of minutes, they're just strictly recovery, get off their feet. A lot of mobility work for them just to kind of get their bodies back in tune, because then not the day after a game, but the next day after that day off, not day off, but that layover day, it will go back to ramping up practice.
I got you. So basically, just to summarize that, you kind of said that like it was a little bit lighter the next day, and then you slowly ramped up the intensity again up until the next day.
Right.
Okay.
Because especially after when January starts, we play more frequently. We play like every 3 days basically. So playing games and having to travel, you can't necessarily just work out really hard all the time, because that's going to put a lot of stress on the body, especially when you have to travel. And then so we have to kind of, how do I say this, tread lightly in terms of the game plan of how we would get our good work in, and then when we would get the recovery. So
And what was like a typical recovery session? Because I know URI had they were pretty good with that from what I've seen.
yeah.
Like they had a lot of different machines. They had PTs. I don't know if you guys had like massage therapists or anything like that, but what was like a recovery session for you guys?
Yeah, so we would have massages at times too, but
No
then
way.
Yeah,
What?
they got
That's
massages.
crazy.
And then in the weight room, it would be like I said, like a lot of mobility work, like stretching, just kind of deloading the body, just taking as much stress off the guys as possible. And then that would really be the recovery. It's just quick session, probably 20 minutes, 25 minutes, just get in and out, and then stay off your feet. Obviously, if you got to go see the trainer, get taped up, get ice, get in the cold tub, stuff like that.
And how important was it to recover according to your strength coaches, your trainers, your regular head coaches? Like because a lot of people ignore recovery. So I'm just like saying, like, since you were a D1 athlete on a top team, like how important is recovery in any sport?
It's really important, because like I said, you want to make sure your body is ready to go for like the next game. So you don't want to be tired from the game before, like your body's still not feeling like it's in tip-top shape, like it's ready to go. So I think the recovery is good just because it allows you to not get necessarily rest, because when you get to a certain point in the season, everyone is tired, but to get your body to feeling like it's ready to go at its peak performance as quickly and as efficiently as you can. I think that's the best way to say it. At that point in the season, like rest isn't like a thing. Like everyone in the country is playing is tired, so about taking care of your body to get you through that long final stretch of the season.
Yeah. Exactly. Like if you don't take like recovery days or like try to recover somehow, at one point you're gonna get injured because of the fact that you didn't recover correctly.
And especially for the guys that play like the most minutes, like it's worse. It's more likely for them because they're playing all game every game. So it's a little bit different for them. So you gotta kind of look at them a little different than guys who play a little less minutes than them because their bodies aren't going through as much strain because they're not playing all game.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just different things to look at.
100%. Like even dude, I remember when I was like playing rugby. Well, first of all, I had to reduce my training to about 3 times a week because practice was like 3 times a week. Rugby was just a club, by the way, for the people that didn't know that. And then game days, 80 minutes straight of playing rugby.
That's crazy.
Dude, I have never been so sore afterwards. So I can't imagine someone not trying to recover after something like that. And then, but again, like you can compare that to like a weightlifting, like a hard weightlifting session or a basketball game or a soccer game. Like you need to take the time to take care of your body and let your body rest so it can perform well again. Because if I didn't take a rest day after that 80 minutes, and if you didn't take a rest day after the basketball games, our bodies would have been shot.
Yeah, of course, 100%.
So
it's crazy. Like you gotta take care of yourself at the end of the day. You just gotta take care of yourself.
Exactly.
Eat, sleep, you know, all the usual stuff.
Mm-hmm. Actually, we'll get into the sleep portion a little bit. So how obviously with school and practice, like was sleeping even a thing for you? Deadass.
I will admit I stay up pretty late as it is like normally, but sleep was definitely, I knew it was important because like if I didn't sleep enough one night, I could feel it the next day. And then when you don't sleep enough, you kind of feel it in your performance too, because like you're kind of just off mentally. And so our strength coach and our trainer, he would say like you need to like actively be getting a lot of sleep because it affects your performance. And then they showed us a bunch of research about how your stats are worse when you don't sleep versus when you get sleep, how you perform better. So sleep was interesting for me though, because I was also trying to take however many classes I was taking at the same time and balance out other things in my life. But I made it work.
And what was I actually didn't really like, I asked you about the practice and stuff like that, but what was like a typical daily routine for you? Because classes, practice, classes again, maybe I don't know if you practice twice a day sometimes. Like what was it like a typical day in season? Let's say in season.
So in season, a typical day would be get up. Did I have early classes? I think I did have early classes. So I would go get up, go to class, go to practice, get out of practice, like eat, maybe go, I don't know, go back to my room, sit down for like 5 minutes, like do some homework, hang out, you know. Yeah, that was like pretty much like a routine day for me. Sometimes I would go to the rec center at night to play basketball with my friends, and then that was like my daily routine. So like class, practice, eat, sit down for 5 minutes, homework, hang out with my friends, play basketball, go to sleep eventually.
Yeah, I got you. But like because you're a kin major, right? You're a kinesiology major. Yeah, like because I've taken, like I'm nutrition, so I've taken some of the courses that you've taken, and like I'm telling, like anatomy, like even what was it, baby orgo, intro to orgo, the 126.
Yeah.
Like you had to sit down and study your ass off to do well in those classes, unless you're super naturally smart, which I'm not. So I really had to fucking study. But like I don't know how, like I really just don't know how you manage like having practices, studying for that long, and then still making time to go hang out with your friends. Like how important is time management when you're in school and you're playing sports like this?
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know how I did it either. But I look back and I say I don't know how you did all that. And I also I had a job too. I was working at the same time.
Oh, and you had a job?
Yeah, I
Holy
had a
crap.
job. So
Holy crap.
yeah, I guess time management is like a big. It's a big thing because one, my first two priorities were like school and basketball because I couldn't do bad at either one of those. And then I just made time for everything else I wanted to do because you only get to experience college itself one time. You only get to play Division I basketball one time. You only get to be around a certain amount of friends for a limited amount of time. So I just made time to do everything I wanted to do, and it worked out somehow. It worked out.
Yeah. That's, dude, that's incredible that you were able to keep a job, do well, because you did well, right? Like you did fairly well in general, I would say, in school, right?
Yeah.
And now you're studying for your GREs,
Mhm.
and you had practice on top of all that, man. Like that's absolutely insane. So can you speak a little bit on how your nutrition habits were? Maybe like either like on a practice day, and I would actually really like to hear your eating routine that maybe the nutritionist gave you for before games and after games.
So before games, so what we do is the coaches like stress that we eat breakfast, and then that didn't always happen because sometimes like class schedule get in the way, like you get up late one day by accident, whatever. But we were supposed to eat breakfast and every day, and then on game days we would have like pregame meals. So after practice we would get food. It would be like some greens, some carbs, some pasta. They would have chicken, sometimes steak for us, depending on what you wanted to eat. And then other little things on the side just to, help us get that energy we needed to store it for the game and last us throughout the rest of the night. And then that was pretty much our routine um, on game days. And then we had snacks in the locker room too, like in case you want to eat on something really quick, some peanut butter, jelly, snacks. They're actually pretty good, and it gave us all a little bit of an energy boost, but
Hmm. I
definitely
gotcha.
stuff in there.
And what was your, like, obviously you have to stay hydrated during the game, like
Mm-hmm.
you have to, right? So like how much, I guess how much like hydration was necessary for someone either starting or just like getting playing time? Like how important was hydration throughout that?
I mean, hydration is definitely important because if you're not hydrated enough, you can cramp up mid game, and that happens to people sometimes. So you like try to drink as much water as you possibly can. Also we had Gatorade, so just to get your electrolytes back in you during the game, but just make sure you have enough of either kind of fluid in you at a certain point, just like when you are playing a lot, you don't cramp up or you're not exhausted out there, beyond normal exhaustion as running around. It's gonna happen, but
Mhm.
trying to just sustain yourself for the duration of the game is hydration is definitely like hugely important.
Yeah, I gotcha. And just to shift topics real quick,
Yeah.
so you kind of talked about your like how time management, like you made time for what you wanted to do. So having everything like this going on, the practice, the work, the studying, did you make time to like go out on a weekend or something like that if the schedule allowed?
Yeah, they were definitely. I wasn't going out every weekend either because sometimes I wouldn't be here because we would be traveling. But there were weekends when I didn't have that much work. I was like, you know what? I haven't seen my friends in a while. I will go out.
Hmm.
Obviously, go out to some parties, see my friends. Live my life. So I would make time to go out, definitely for sure. Because like I said, you only get to do college one time. So of
That's a
course I'm gonna hit a
fact.
few parties with my friends.
That's a fact. Like I feel like if you're just a slave to, like, I don't want to say like don't be a slave to the grind because you have to grind. You have to grind for what you want,
Mhm.
but you should like, give yourself a mental break every now and then, like I feel like it's just important to like, whether you guys went drinking or not or whatever, like if you guys, as long as you like got together with some friends, just decompressed, talked a little bit, caught up, like I just feel like that is the best thing, like especially after working so hard. like that, it's just like, you know, you got something to talk about, you know?
Yeah, and it was funny because like I would go out to like, the few times I would go out. My friends would be like, "Oh, like you're a ghost now, like we never see you," and I'm like, "Man, I'm busy. Like I have
Man,
things to do."
I'm traveling
But
bad states.
like I'm a busy man, but I just it was always good seeing like my friends when I went out, and it was always always good vibe. So I just
Mhm.
was happy I was able to balance that out to that extent.
No, I feel that. I remember when I would go out, sometimes I really wouldn't be going out like a crazy amount, especially last semester.
Me
But when I
neither.
went out, all like I would have a conversation about working out with someone, and then another person would come and talk to me about working out.
Mm.
And I would literally just be at the party talking to guys about working out. And I'm just like, damn, this is like not what I was hoping for, you know?
It's not what you came out here for. You came outside to relax and just have a few minutes to yourself, or not to yourself, but just to not talk about what you're doing on a weekly basis. And then here you are talking about what you do on a weekly basis.
Yeah, exactly. Like when I because I did it too. When I saw you, I was like, yo, how's basketball? I'm
Yeah,
sure that was the 20th time you heard that from
yeah.
someone
I would get the question a lot, but I answered it all the time because I was like, like I didn't realize that people were like excited for me, and then I was like, dang, like people really out here supporting me, and like
yeah.
it was mad love, and I was like, sheesh. But I definitely like y'all are my boys, so I would talk to y'all about whatever, like whatever y'all wanted to know, I would tell y'all to the best of my ability. We crack jokes, laugh about it, talk about it. Like I was all for that.
Oh yeah, bro. No, that's like, but that's something I can kind of feel you on. Obviously not like about basketball, but like just about topics like when you don't go out for a while, people are just like, oh, ask you about what you do on a daily basis
Yeah.
anyway, like you said before.
Like I understand, like people just want to see how you've been. Like they know, like you're doing certain things, so they want to ask about it. Like I got no problem with people asking me about it.
hmm
So it's just natural. It's just gonna happen.
hmm But you know what's kind of sad though? Some people kind of get lost in that whole life
Mm,
and don't real and you can kind of like tell sometimes that they don't know what their purpose is. And
mm,
it kind of makes me a little sad sometimes, like seeing that, because I'm just like, damn, bro, it's like clear that I'm not talking about anyone specific. I'm just saying in general, like sometimes this happens. Like it's just like, damn, like you clearly don't have a crazy priority that you care that much about, you know?
mm.
So like, what are your thoughts on that? Like some people getting lost in the whole party life. Like I'm not talking about anyone specific that we were around, but I'm saying like in general, like that happens.
In general, I feel like if that were to happen to any person, I feel like they just forgot like what their end goal was, and they kind of got sidetracked by things along the way, which happens in life. Um, like it's not uncommon for it to happen. It's just you have to, especially for people that I guess athletes or whatever, that get sidetracked. It's like you got to remember whatever your reason is for playing that sport, whether it's to make it to the league, to feed your family or stuff like that. Like you got to remember like why you're doing what you're doing in the first place, and you got to keep that in your head, you know, all the time. That way you don't make dumb decisions off the court, or you don't do anything that'll put you in a position to not be able to achieve your dream. So you just got to keep that little vision of like why you're doing what you're doing in your head, and just follow that.
That was really well said. Really well said.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, man. Because like I remember like for rugby, obviously it's a club sport. Some people aren't going to take it as seriously.
Mhm.
So what would get me the most angry is that if I were out on a Saturday night after I had played, maybe sometimes I would have to play two games because I would have to play a little bit of A side and then a full B side game, or like all of B side. And like it was just like annoying when I saw people at the parties that clearly had not been going to practice, that have
Mhm.
not been even going to the games, and you're still there. And I'm just like, you don't deserve this, man. Like you're just here just to be here, and I know you don't have any like priorities of being here. So it's kind of just like, why are you here? Like why are you masking in the glory that we all work so hard for? So it's like
Yeah.
kind of disrespectful at that point. So I don't know. Like, I just feel like some people get really lost and they forget because those people obviously forgot the purpose of why they joined my team or not my team. Like, they joined the rugby team, you know?
Right.
So, yeah. So, I just think that's like, if you're gonna commit to something, like, commit to it 100%, and then, go decompress, like we talked about, like with your friends or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
hmm
Exactly.
So, I just wanted to ask you. So, like, what was probably the coolest experience of being on the Rhode Island basketball team? Travel, can be anything.
Ah, man. So I gotta say, probably, I want to say top two coolest things were meeting Little Baby because he came to like our Brody Madness.
That was crazy. I remember I saw that picture that you posted that one time. That was crazy.
I think about it and I'm like, yo, I listen to this guy's music all the time, and I'm like, yo, you actually met this dude. Like his jewelry is very serious, bro. His jewelry is crazy.
hmm
But that was probably the coolest thing. And then probably going to Jamaica this past year on one of our tournament trips because we just had it was a good time.
hmm And you were able to, like, not only were you able to play basketball like the whole time, which is what you love doing, but you were able to, go to a different country and do all that and, like, just experience something. I don't know if you've ever been to Jamaica. I've never been to Jamaica, but, like,
I have been once before because my aunt got married there, but then like this is my second time going, and this I was able to comprehend more. Like I was older, I was more aware. But it was just a good time. It was like a lot of laughs, a lot of good times, good vibes,
mhm,
good weather. Good food is
mhm.
food was crazy.
I gotta go there one day. Like, my barber's from there, and he's just like, you gotta go here, and I'm just like, dude, I'm 100%. I have to go there one day. So,
Sure.
um, didn't you didn't you guys go to Hawaii once?
We did. We went my junior year. We went to Hawaii.
And how was that experience, like playing basketball there?
It was cool. So in terms of like the basketball itself, I don't think we didn't do that well in the tournament. And then we were kind of like, I guess not. We were kind of ready to go because we weren't doing as well, and we were there for like a week, and so we were just having like a little rough patch. So it wasn't as enjoyable as it should have been. But we did actually have this one trip where we went like snorkeling or something like that in Hanama Bay, and like the fish, they just like swim right next to you because like you can't fish in that part of the water. And so I'm just sitting there like with a snorkel swimming next to some fish. I'm like, oh, this is actually kind of nuts.
Yeah.
But that was cool though. But like going, even having a chance to go over there and play was just cool to me because in Hawaii playing
hmm
basketball, like it's not everyone can say that.
hmm
But definitely things I always remember.
hmm So, what are your biggest takeaways from being on the team, going through the whole process of not making the team, then making the team? Like, what's something that you can just like tell someone, like, look, like, this is what I learned. This is what I've taken away from it, whether it's friends, experiences, mindset. Like what would you like to say about that? The whole experience being on the team.
The whole experience. Obviously I would want to say something I've been saying like the whole show is staying mentally tough. Like you have to be mentally tough, especially like being a walk on because things work a little different for walk ons, obviously. So you just have to be like mentally tough. You have to be ready to go to practice, every day. Um, just being able to like get through the daily life of being a walk on is just mentally a lot sometimes. And then in terms of like your character, just I personally did not try to let anything like that go to my head. Like I remember like the first day I made the team, I didn't really tell anybody because I was like, I don't want to like broadcast that. So people found out and they asked me about it. But honestly, just being mentally tough and then staying true to who you are and then just making the most of like your opportunities and like enjoy everything you can because you have a limited time to do certain things and you want to enjoy it as to the best of your abilities. Like, yeah, there's gonna be some bad days and shit, but like that's life.
hmm
So those are like my three biggest takeaways is just staying mentally tough, don't lose yourself in the situation you're in, just stay true to who you are and and enjoy yourself. It's like
Mhm.
you gotta enjoy the little things in life because you never know when you won't be able to enjoy them again. So
Mhm.
you just gotta take everything you can and just not take it for granted.
Yeah. How important do you think, like, you are one of the most humble people I've ever met, by the way, because I literally had no idea you were even trying out until I think I saw like a picture of you or I talked to you
Something like that.
sometime. Yeah, yeah, like sometime prior, something like that. Like literally like right when you made the team. Like I had no idea you were ever even like going for that.
Mhm.
So like how important is it to keep that humble mindset? And do you think that if you're working hard on something, should you broadcast it to others? Should you maybe let your close friend group into it? Should you project it to others? Like, what are your thoughts on like, giving out news that you're working on, you're grinding for low key?
So this is all variable by everybody's personality, but my
Mm-hmm.
personality always growing up is I never like to broadcast like my achievements. Like I've never been that kind of person, and with social media it's really easy to do that. But when I made the team, I obviously told like my parents, and I told like a few of my closest friends because they knew like this meant a lot to me, and so I obviously told them. And a lot of people actually didn't know until we had like that Roadie Madness thing where
Yeah.
I was on stage and people were like, "Is that?"
Is that
And I,
Jordan?
and then mad people were hitting me up like, "Yo, like you're on the team," and I was like, "Yeah." They was like, "Why don't you tell people?" I was like, "That's not who I am." But I'm not saying it's a bad thing to not broadcast your achievements, but me personally, I don't like to do that just because one, I feel like there's always something more I could do, or I don't like talking about myself either. That's another thing. I hate talking about myself.
Mhm.
And it's just that's just me. So if people find out and they want to talk about it, I'm all for that. But I won't be the first to be like, yo, like I just did this big thing. Like you should be, you should be proud of me. You should like
Hey, I
that's,
did this. Aren't
yeah,
you proud of me?
that's never been who I am. Like I'll tell like the people closest to me because they they want to know, and like they'll be genuinely excited, and because they know what I've been working for.
Hmm. Hmm. So it's super important to stay humble throughout the process. Like
Of
basically is what
course,
you're saying.
of course.
But honestly, like I think I have a slightly different personality than you, where I like talking about what's going on in my life. Like I hate having like thoughts in my head that I can't like project because sometimes like people just aren't talking. I'm just like, all right, I'll talk. I'm just like, yeah, if you guys aren't gonna talk, like I'll talk about whatever.
Mm.
So like I think we differ in personalities like that, but I'm definitely not one to just like talk about everything I'm doing. Like if there's something that I'm not even sure about, I definitely will not start speaking about it until like I'm sure I'm going to commit to this goal. So I'm
Mm.
not just gonna. I'm not one to just say shit and not back it up, basically.
Right. No, I feel that.
So like
Like,
we can, yeah, so you can, but you're one to just like not say anything and have everything to back it up. I'm one to maybe say like say a few things about it and then but like I mean what I'm doing though.
mm,
So that's like, yeah, so everyone's a little bit different though, but it's kind of both stay humble throughout the process, I feel like. So that's what's the most important thing. So what to wrap it up, why don't you give me step by step what someone can do if they haven't made a team that they want to make in college, and yeah, basically how you did it, and what steps they can take to get closer to being on the team if they haven't even started going through all the research or anything like that. Like what are some general guidelines you can give?
so step by step. So you wanna. This is kind of like how I went through it myself. Is you want to see what the environment or the atmosphere is like. So check out the roster, like see what the team needs. If you fit the position they need, that's a plus for you. If you don't fit the position, see how else you can add value if you were to be on that team in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Um, so yeah, and if you can talk to anybody on the coaching staff and see what they can do or like what you can do for yourself, do that. And then in terms of getting ready physically for the tryout, just always stay ready. So work out, stay in as good of cardio shape as you possibly can be, because you never know when you might get a chance. And obviously just sharpen like your skills and your tool set. Because like let's just say the coaching staff says, you know what, we're maybe looking for somebody, and we're maybe thinking about adding somebody to the team. And if you want to try out, just get ready. Like just literally, like I said earlier, play to your strengths, work on the things you may be lacking in the meantime while you're preparing, and then let everything else work itself out. Because you can take all the necessary steps and then something can go left down the road, which is how life works. But that's my thing, is just find out what your weaknesses are, find out where you can get your opportunity, and then just put yourself in a position to capitalize on that opportunity whenever it may come.
Mm-hmm. I feel like a huge thing that you were mentioning in the beginning is don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to ask the coaches, because that's one of the first steps that you had to take. You were just like, you reached out.
Sometimes you just gotta ask, like, yo, can I get a try?
Can I please try out?
And it's funny, the way that worked out is one of my big brothers at school, he basically had to talk me into going to coach to ask him, because it wasn't originally my idea. Because I was like, dang, bro, like there's not gonna be another tryout, like this is crazy. And he was like, honestly, what do you got to lose? Just go talk to him and be like, on some type of time where like, yo, you need this, and what is he gonna do? What's the worst he can say? No. And what if he says yes? Like, what if he says yes? And then he said yes, worked something out for me, and then 2 years later, I have crazy experiences that I wouldn't have been able to experience if I didn't ask him that one question.
Mm-hmm.
Or like
sometimes it's one question that could really change your life, and it's just like, are you willing to actually ask that question? Like, take that step further. Yeah, it's a little bit uncomfortable, but what's more uncomfortable?
You don't just go up to like, you want coach and be like, yo, I need to try out. Like, what you talking about, bro? Get out of here. Like, you're bugging right now. But
I'm saying, like, still, like, you are obviously way more grateful that you took that step. Because imagine if you never asked that question, like, you wouldn't have the experiences that you just told me about with Jamaica, Hawaii, being on the team with these guys that obviously have a crazy work ethic, which probably rubbed off on you, even though you already had a pretty good mindset going in. So it's just like, don't be scared. Just go get it. Like, go get after, like, whatever you're trying to do.
Closed mouths don't get fed. You know how the saying goes.
I've never heard that one. I love that, bro. I love that quote.
It's in a couple songs.
Word. No, I love that. And okay, sorry. I know I said that was the last question, but I kind of
whatever else you got for me.
All right, I got you. One last question. How was it being in an environment with guys that, like, some of them went pro, some of them got I don't know if some of them went in the draft. Just like being with athletes that clearly are just like machines, like, especially with a school that funds them the way they are right now. With like the Ryan Center and all that. I'll put pictures of like the stadium and stuff like that. But like how was it being around those guys that are just like clearly just machines, like athletes, like,
It's super dope, because like you get to obviously play against them in practice, and you get to see firsthand like what their work ethic is. You see like their drive, their motivation, like a lot of intangibles rub off on you by like being around people like that, because they didn't just get good overnight. So like this was like years of like hard work. Like you see like manifesting itself, and it's just cool to be around that. And that's like the biggest things I took away from playing around all these great players. Like, yo, like they work hard, they work their ass off, and it's like it translates to the way they play. So it's super dope being around them. It's like this, because not everyone works on like their level. Like they're playing at a high level basketball because they work at a high level, and they put that work in, and it's just crazy seeing that.
Mm-hmm. Like this isn't like some JV high school
Like
team
it,
that's like
it makes you get off your ass and work too, because like like at the end of the day, you can't be a slouch next to them, because like obviously like they're all way better than me. Like, there's no secret about like they're all way better than me, but it's like you can't look like you don't belong. Like you gotta put some work in too. You better be able to hang with these these dudes, because you gotta go to practice too. You gotta go to practice.
Yeah.
So just being around them, and it just makes you want to get off your own ass and do better for yourself, because like damn, like he's working, like I gotta work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I'm saying, like, aren't you kind of glad that they were, like, I don't know how much better they were than you, but like, aren't you glad that they were better than you because they could
These guys are
push you?
pros. They're way better than me. They're pros. Like they're the goods. But finish your question.
No. I was just saying, like, aren't you glad that they were like, that much better than you, so you could also improve your game that much better. So when you got back to someone that was like, that previously could compete with you, you were just like, oh shit, dude, like I just got way better because I've been practicing with these guys who literally might go pro or like playing at a top level college basketball.
It changes your whole mindset, because like when you play against good people or even around better people, and then you go back to being around people who aren't on their level or like average, you're like, man, this ain't nothing. Like, let's say like if I were to go to the park, you'd be like, man, like it's not even the same. It's like like this is too easy, or like that. Your mindset just changes. You're like, dang, like I'm going from playing against the pros to like regular people. It just changes your whole like perspective on things. Like I played against a pro, so I don't know who else thinks out here that they can go to the park feeling like motherfucking Kobe.
And is there any guys you kind of want to like give a shout out to that might be going in the draft or something like that, or are looking to get picked up by a professional team?
Honestly, it's not even like one person, but I feel like the whole team I play with, like I wish all of them success, because they all are on scholarship. They all fighting for that same goal. So I think everyone I played with or have been around since I've been to URI, and like my other friends in other schools who are playing basketball, is like I want all of them to just succeed, go make their money, go play as long as they can, just be happy playing basketball, because it's fun. Basketball is like a fun job you can have. It's better
100%.
than a job.
100%, man.
All of my teammates, I just want them to be successful. That's it. So it's all love on this end.
Bro, that's awesome. I was really expecting you to like say like someone specific, and I was like, oh shit, he's just gonna he's gonna show love to everyone. He's not gonna.
They all work hard. Like they all want to be successful. So I wish that on them. Like I know them personally. Like I wish all of them success. I don't hate on anybody. I don't want to single anybody out, because they all work. They all work their ass off. So that's more blessings for them. That's just how I look at things.
That's awesome, Jordan. That's awesome. I think that was all the questions I had, man, and you answered every single one, and honestly, super clearly and concisely. And I honestly, like, the main goal of this podcast was to hopefully inspire someone that is in your position that's like, oh, like, I should just give up already. But like the fact that you were able to do it, that's why I wanted you to come on here, because you went and just got after it, bro. Like you went and you were not afraid to go ask the coach. I mean, you were. But your friend convinced you.
I was a little nervous. Because if like this could go one of two ways. This can go good or it can go bad.
But you never know if you don't try.
Yeah, you won't know. You won't know.
And that's why I love your story, man. And that's why, like, when I started this podcast, I was just thinking, I'm like, he'd be a good fit to come on here, because you understand failure. You understand going through these phases of like, maybe not everyone will believe in you, but as long as you have that mindset where you're just going to be successful. Sorry, my dog keeps fucking coming.
Yeah, that's cool. Right, gotta show love to the dog.
She wants her little spotlight real quick.
Yeah, you need some love.
But Yeah, no, I'm saying like you just get that you need to have this working mindset. Not everything is fucking handed to you, and you have to earn it.
Yeah.
So that's why I really do appreciate you coming on here, man, and explaining that to people, because that message can be spread through so many ways. Like you can spread it through D1 sports, like making a team, like just achieving a dream that you've always wanted,
Yeah,
and
but
like you thought you couldn't do.
with any dream, like anybody with any dream, I don't care if you're dancing, you're an artist, like anything like anybody wants to achieve in life, it's all the same mindset. It's just like literally just don't give up and just they tell you no, find another way or ask again. Like, just you just can't give up because life's too short to be like, oh, what if? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you gotta take a chance on something at some point. So
Exactly. And I'm just like I'm just tired of people just like playing it safe, like, like going this career path is gonna make me money, and that's like, that's like my sheer goal in life. And I'm just like, dude, but what if you hate doing that for the rest of your life?
yeah.
Like, do you really want to do that? Like, you're passionate about physical therapy, and like I even enjoy that a lot too. Like, I would love to do that. So like that's an enjoyable career field that you're going after, and you were able to make a team. Like, you just got a lot of success, a lot of hopefully future success coming for you because you earned it. Like, a lot of people just want the easy route. Like, just get after it. Just get after it. You know what I'm
The
saying?
work doesn't stop. So you always got to you always got to focus on the next. You can't just be satisfied in yourself. The work doesn't stop, bro.
Exactly. All right, Jordan, I think I'm gonna close it off there, man. You don't have to leave. I'm gonna stop recording, but you don't have to leave if you want to stay for like 1 or 2 minutes after. But I just appreciate you coming on here, man. And like seriously, like this is all. I had a great time like interviewing you because I haven't talked to you in a while, first of all, and just like it was good. It was good hearing like the full rundown of what would happen.
Thank you for having me on the show too. I appreciate that.
No, absolutely, Jordan. All right. Oh wait, I'm not. There we go.